Hey, how's it going? This is Joe Intel. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Triangle Borea BR03s. Bro 3s? I don't know. So first, a quick message from our show sponsors.
This video was brought to you by the Hi-Fi Summit, the first ever digital trade show happening in the comfort of your own home. Join today and begin your hi-fi journey to the top. And the platinum sponsor for the Hi-Fi Summit, Denon. They just released their brand new AVRs for 2020. Future-proof your system with HDMI 2.1 support, preamp mode, multi-channel processing previously exclusive only to the top models, quick switching for Odyssey presets, and much more. Links down below. PSB. Paul Barton designed speakers based on his scientific research done at the National Research Council in Canada. Extremely well-designed speakers at affordable prices. OSD Black is a high-performance line of upgraded speaker and electronics products, SVS, providing thrilling and immersive high-end sound with unmatched performance for the price.
Alright, so today I'm taking a look at the Triangle BR03, the Boreas. They also sent me their BRC1 center channel speaker, so I'll be taking a look at that as well. So what do I have to say about these? These are very popular right now. A lot of people have been asking me to review these. And the first thing I would say when I look at these is that they just look beautiful. I mean, these are some of the best looking speakers that I've seen in this price range. And does that mean something? Well, to me it does. So why does it mean something that these actually look nice? Why does that mean anything to anybody? Well, at least for me, I can speak for myself when I say that when I have to look at something, I want them to look nice. You know, I'm gonna have to look at speakers. They're here in front of my living room and I have to look at them all the time. My wife has to look at them. And so I wanna make sure that they look nice. Now, does that mean that they sound nice? I don't know, well, let's see. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think about this look here? So you can see that it has dual front ports. It has a different type of white cone, right? And looks like a phase plug here, although this does move forward and backwards, which means that it's not a true phase plug. It's just the dust cap that's shaped that way. And then right here, you'll notice it has like a nice accent ring. This is rubber, and this looks like some kind of metallic. And that is a nice looking touch. They didn't have to do that. The one that I got was this nice walnut veneer here, and it doesn't have a texture to it, but to me, it looks very nice. It's well done. The seams look good on this. In addition, you'll notice that it has a 1-inch soft dome tweeter and it has this kind of like this bar to protect it. That looks cool. This also is rubber around here for the waveguide, very small waveguide, but it also has some sort of design aspect to it. And on the back, you'll see here that these are some of the nicest looking 5-way binding posts that I've ever seen. I like the way that these look. What can I say? Very nice design. Triangle is a French manufacturer. I would imagine that at this price point, somewhere around $500, it fluctuates, that these are probably not made in France. That would be probably expensive, but designed there nonetheless. So how do these sound? I would say that to me, they have a sound signature that is less than accurate. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that, but very pleasing to the ear. I can see why so many reviewers like this, because they do things where it's pleasing for the normal user to listen to these. And so they didn't deviate too far off of flat, although they did make it a little bit more exciting, a little bit more inviting, a little bit more enjoyable to listen to in most cases. So that depends on you. And so I'm not here to judge what you like and what you don't like. I can only speak for myself. And so what did I notice by listening to these? Well, they sounded like they had some pretty decent bass. You know, these are not the smallest cabinets. They're not huge either. And so, you know, the bass is about where I would expect for this size, maybe a little bit less than I would expect, but mid-range, the treble, all of that sounded pretty good. I mean, the top end response sounded very clear, but not to the point of, let's say, clip speakers where maybe it might sound a little bit bright for some people. It's enough so that there's enough clarity there for almost anybody. You can hear voices very well at all volumes, especially at lower volumes. That can be an issue, but with these, it wasn't an issue. A lot of people seem to like the mid-range on these, and I can see why. They've done some stuff to kind of soften up the mid-range so that it isn't harsh for a lot of people. And that's a trick that I saw on the Q Acoustics 3030Is that I reviewed, where they had a slight dip in that region. And I think that these guys are doing the same thing. I know I keep going back to the looks on these, but to me, it's very important that I talk about the looks when it comes to this, because they are not the most perfect speaker in the world. You know, it doesn't do everything perfectly, but the fact that it looks so good, I think that to me was the most striking thing. And it does have a magnetic cover. I chose to use it without it in most cases, but you may have to if you have kids. So what else can I say about these? The shape of them is more European style, where they are slim and tall and maybe a little deeper than some of the other speakers, whereas some of the more American-made speakers are maybe a little bit wider from the front when you're viewing them. That's kind of the European style. That's what they go for. I dig it. So now let's take a look at some of the measurements and see how they performed in REW in room.
All right, so right now I am taking a look at the Triangle BR03, and let's see here. Let's start off with the high end. And so you'll see here, brilliance. I've calibrated this for 85 decibels. And so you'll notice that the top end is nice and flat, although it is above the registered 85 decibels by about, I don't know, maybe about 2 decibels up. And then what you'll notice here in the upper mids, in the presence region, somewhere around here, is that it dips below, right? So it dips below 85 decibels, and that is down about 3 decibels, right? So typically what you want is plus or minus 3 dB, and that's considered a pretty flat speaker if it doesn't deviate more than plus or minus 3 decibels from here. But another thing to consider is how much it swings. So the fact that it goes from down to up here, that might make that a little bit more noticeable. Now, this is what I was talking about when I was saying that this is kind of what I noticed in the Q Acoustics as well, where they take out this harshness. So this is where your ear's the most sensitive. And so a lot of times this is also where the crossover is. And so they purposely make it so that it's a little bit recessed there, so it's easier on your ears. And so let's get here into the mids. And again, it doesn't deviate very far from 85 decibels here until we get towards the mids, the lower mids, and it starts to go up again, right? So you get a little bit of a boost in the mids, lower mids as well. So remember, 85 decibels is what we're calibrated to, right? So also the bass is also a bit boosted here, right? So that's about 4 decibels up, right? All the way down here. And so let's see, the minus 3 decibel point is around 82. So that would be around 47.1 hertz. And this is an in-room response, so keep that in mind. Minus 6 dB, which is still audible. A lot of companies measure at minus 6 dB. In-room is 41 hertz, and minus 10 dB would be around 36 hertz. Now, what you'll notice is, compared to the Q Acoustics that I just reviewed, this doesn't hit as low, right? And so these are front ported, and so we're taking the ports into account as well here. So overall, it's not a perfectly flat response like I was saying, but this bass boost here is nice to hear, right? A lot of people will like that. The mids right here, the fact that they're boosted slightly also brings out some of the vocal notes. And so a lot of times you're listening to a human being, and so that's going to help with that. Takes out some of that harshness, and then the treble is still retained. It boosts it back up, so you still get a sense of detail. So I get why they did it, but this is not a perfectly flat speaker, and I don't think they intended it to be. Now, another thing I noticed is, I'm going to go here. This is a Unsmooth Response here, and I took a few just to make sure. And what I noticed here is very odd. Right here around 16 kilohertz is this very narrow dip. And I think it's due to that bar that's in front of that tweeter, right? And so I tested both speakers just to make sure. And yep, it's on both of them. The other thing I did test was I also wanted to see if it was doing it on the center channel speaker. Yep, there it is. Right around 16 kilohertz. And so let's take a look at how this compares to, let me smooth this out a little bit. So this is the center channel, the BRC1. And so let's see how that responds compared to this. You typically want these to be very similar in response, right? And so here is the BR03 bookshelf speaker next to the center channel. And so you'll notice that, yeah, they have a pretty similar response. Although over here in this region, it seems like the center channel dips down a little bit more from, what is this? Around 1 kilohertz to around 3 kilohertz. So it dips down a little further. So a little bit odd. I'm not sure exactly why that happens. But tonally, you can see that they're very similar.
So as you can see there, these guys at Triangle know what they're doing, and they know how to make a speaker sound pleasing. And I've been appreciating that more and more. Typically, I'll go for something that's very flat, you know, just because that is something that you can use as a reference. These are not the flattest, but I can respect what they've done with the sound signature. The other thing that kind of surprised me was that the bar here did make a sound difference, whether it was on these speakers or the center channel. So I do have to talk a little bit about the center channel. I did use this as my front stage for a few weeks, and so I got a chance to listen to them, and I think that they sound very good. All three of them match very well, and so I didn't have an issue using these as my front stage. Yeah, no problems at all. I think most people would be satisfied with that setup. There is no other speaker that I like the looks of better than these in this price range, but if there's one that you would recommend, let me know in the comments below. As always, let's place these on the speaker leaderboard and see how they perform.
All right, so we're back here at the speaker leaderboard, and we're taking a look at the Triangle BR03. So these are the bigger brothers, about 6.5 inch woofer, and there's also a smaller one, a BR02, I believe, and that is a smaller woofer. So if you're buying these, make sure to keep that in mind. So here they are. They fit in the best bookshelf category, and let's see where they place. I'm gonna have to put these slightly below the 3030s because those had a lot of bass and they performed very well. They measured well. ELAC UB5. As far as looks, I would put them on pretty much on top, like very close to these. I love the way those look. These look pretty awesome. Those look awesome. So up here, I'd say they'd be above the 3030Is in looks. But in overall sound quality, I'm going to have to put these. Let's see here. I'm going to put these. Okay, so let me preface this by saying, I think a lot of people will think that the SVS are maybe a little bit bright compared to these. So these are better in that regard, right? The UB5s have better bass, right? And that concentric driver, that makes a difference when it comes to imaging. These do image well, and so I didn't have an issue with that. I thought they performed well in that aspect. But you have to just keep in mind that these don't have a ton of bass. They are dynamic. They're definitely they measure better than these Tucks for sure. They measure better than Dynas. The Dynas have way more bass. Oh man, where am I gonna put you guys? RP600Ms also perform well. Some people might think those are a little bit bright, but I would say right around here, you know, UB5, I think this is good. I'm comfortable with it right here below the UB5s. For me personally, I use these as my center stage, and before that I had the UB5s and the UC5 center channel, and for my preference, I like that setup better. But you know what? If you want better dialogue, then you could easily put this up here. So interchangeable. You have an idea. Best for desktop. You know what? These aren't huge. They're kind of narrow, so they would be suitable if you have a pretty big desk, right? I'm gonna go ahead and put them by these passive speakers down here. And so just keep in mind, this is mostly about what would fit on most people's desks. I think right around here would be good. Right around here. Somewhere, I don't know, around here. Boom. So these come in at around $500. So the price fluctuates. So I'm going to go ahead and put them under $500. And I will put these, man, you know what, these Crystal 4.3s, floor standing speakers at that price was pretty crazy. The Dynas, these are a DIY solution, so they do sound awesome. I would say right around here. I think it's these actually sound very similar to each other. The Wharfdale Diamond 11.1s and these triangles. I like them both. I think they both actually look pretty awesome too. So somewhere, you know, somewhere like this, somewhere like that. And last, best overall, regardless of price. I'm going to have to go ahead and put you guys. So this is best overall sound. What do I like, right? So I like a ton of bass. So in that regard, I'm going to go ahead and put it, it's kind of tricky because the Alpha P5s are smaller and they're technically, I think technically maybe they measure a little bit better. I'm going to go ahead and put them right around here. Alpha P5s, Totem Kin plays, Canto Tux, PSB P5s. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. The only reason I could put it like this, the Dynas could definitely be under these because they don't measure as well, but they have that bass makes up for a lot. But yeah, I'll just go ahead and put them right here. It's just that weird little dip in the treble response. Although it's probably not audible, I still prefer that to not be there. So there you have it. Let me know if you agree in the comments below.
Anyway, I hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when I upload new videos. And once again, thank you to my Patreon supporters. Thank you for supporting me and allowing me to do what I love to do here on YouTube. If you're not already a Patreon supporter, check it out at patreon.com/JoeAndTell. Anyway, that's it. Take care. Bye-bye.